So I'm here at the Filmfest Hamburg, and with me is Celine Sciamma, the director of Portrait of a Lady on Fire. First of all, thank you for a marvelous film. I enjoyed it so much, to be honest. But to be honest, I'm usually not a fan of period dramas, but this one just completely blew me away. So how did you come up with the story?
Well, it was a long process, I must say, a process that took years, especially because I wanted to go against some of the convention of the period piece, and to come up also with an original story. It's not the adaptation of a book. It's not even the portraying of somebody who actually existed. We invented the storyline, and we also invented the character. This woman painter was at the center of the film, didn't exist, but I worked a lot on research and also crafting this character so that she would actually be emblematic and true and not anachronic at all to all these women painters who were working at the time.
Since it's fictional, are there some personal aspects in the story?
Yes, of course. I think the movie is really, really intimate. It talks about painting, and it talks about what it's like to portray somebody, and the relationship between the artist and the model. And of course, this talks a lot about cinema. And at the center of the film, there is Ade le Haenel, which has been working with her and having this long relationship with her within years. And this is also, of course, I don't know. I can't say a tribute. But it talks a lot about collaboration and how we make cinema.
When telling a story out of a specific period in time, it must be tricky to get every detail right. How did you research for the film?
Well, I did a lot of research by myself at first, reading a lot, going through archives on the internet. It could be the body of work of these hundred of women painters, or it could also be archive from the critics at the time, were reviewing the paintings. There was also a strong feminine art critic scene, feminist even, and also work with the sociologists of the art, with specialists of that particular moment in art history, because there was a very flourishing scene regarding women artists, so that there would really be no anachronism. And cinema is about also a collective, so the costume designer and the set decorator, they work also by themselves, and we make the choices of what we were going to put in the frame. And regarding the period piece, this is all very, very strong decision, whether you go for the silky dress or more strong material if you accessorize it a lot. And the movie has this very clear line, very it's not mundane, it's not Versailles, it's really simple in a way, and we worked a lot about what we were not going to put in the frame also.
Your leading roles, Ade le Haenel and Merlant, they're just so brilliant. Mm-hmm. Did you have them in mind when you were writing the script?
I had Ade le Haenel in mind when I was writing the script. It was part of the desire of the project to work with her again. So the part was written with her in mind, with everything that I knew and that we all know about her, but also like a new partition for her to create something new, like a new face of herself. And Noémie Merlant, I didn't know her. I really wanted, as I was going to look at somebody that I know very well, wanted to discover somebody. She's been in the business for several years, but I hadn't had the chance to actually meet her work. But I met her through a casting process, and when I put the two of them in the frame, it was obvious that this was a cinematic duo.
The way you put the landscape on screen is really outstanding. And it looks like a painting itself. Mm-hmm. Did you develop the look together with your cinematographer, Claire Martin, or whose idea was it?
Well, from the start, I really wanted to have the ocean, to have those cliffs, which is like a very French. It's Brittany. It's very French, but it's also not French. It's also about this romantic imaginary. So it's pretty much very, very European, I must say. And we talked a lot with Claire Maton, the cinematographer, about how we were gonna shoot those landscape. And we didn't talk about painting that much, but regarding the frames. But I think we asked ourselves the question of the painter, which is about light direction and where do you put the character in the frame, and the fact that the screen of a cinema will be the future canvas. And we really wanted to. We were talking a lot about beauty. We really wanted to make it beautiful, but not in the style of, it would have to be the style of the film. So that was, we talked a lot. And also the lighting was a big part of the process of making the film. There was a lot of time devoted to that, which is a strong choice, because it's a time that you're not going to devote to something else. But, our two stars are really such great actresses that we did, it was a good hierarchy.
Your previous films mostly dealt with society and everything surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the first time you were dealing with love as a main subject. What was the reason for that?
Well, I wanted to deal with love as the main subject. I wanted to have a film with a love story at its center. And two things about this. I mean, I wanted to have this really patient chronicle of desire rising and love being born, and wanted also to have this other timeline that is the memory of a love story. The movie is kind of a big flashback, and so we have both. We have this, this love, this present time of the love story, and we also have this philosophy, this dynamic, this poetic of love throughout time. And it was the first time, and the first time that I actually also was looking at grown-up character. So not a love or desire that actually makes you discover yourself, but a love that makes you discover the other and the concept of love.
When creating the character of the painter, did you have a real painter in mind, or did you build that character from the scratch?
I had hundreds of how can we say? I studied the lives of these women, but actually wanted to invent one that would be true to all of them. So she didn't exist, but she actually exists, But I wanted to create her style of painting. Didn't want to take the body of work of one of them. Didn't want to go through that biopic, style where it's all about the destiny of one person. So that's also why we invented that character.
The film comes out here in Germany on October 31st. What is you hope the audience will walk away with after watching the film?
I'm always trying to make a film that could be somebody's favorite film, and that means, what is somebody's favorite film? I think it's a film that you carry with you, that you still want to live in. You're not living the film in the room. And I think also what I want people to have with them is themselves. I mean, their own, I think this, especially when you're making a film about love, I think people should leave the room with their own love stories being, at peace with their memories.
Most films that deal with love often rely on the soundtrack. What was the reason for you to almost use no soundtrack at all?
Well, it was really a reflection, a thought around the period piece, actually. It was a matter of reconstitution. Those characters, they are longing for beauty. They are longing for heart. But it's not available. So they're frustrated. You can't listen to music. If you find a book, you will read it 10 times. And I wanted to put the audience in the same position because, we have access. We are living this moment where we have access to beauty really, really easily. It's in our pockets. You know, if you want to listen to any music, you can. So I wanted, the audience to be equals with the character. You know, equality is at stake here in this film. So that when music or beauty, art is experienced by the characters, you experience it as strongly.
You're being honoured here at the Filmfest Hamburg with your own little retrospective.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first reaction when you heard about it?
Oh, I can die. No.
Please don't.
No, actually, I was glad. I think it's always, you know, I'm always very touched when festivals actually commit to the present. I think a festival should be about contemporary, and it's really a strong act of love and politics to actually be enthusiastic about the present. So, you know, I'm young, and I'm glad that I could have this already retrospective look on my work because, you know, it's also political, of course.
Indeed. What about the future? Is there anything you can already talk about? What's coming next?
I really don't know. I've never had this next step in my mind until the movie is kind of put out there in the world. So it's just been released in France. It's going to be released here, and I will, you know, when it's part of the job to actually, you put some news in the world, and you have to, it's a dialogue. So I guess I will know what I will do next when this dialogue is done.
I'm pretty sure everyone will love the film as much as I did, all of my colleagues did. So thank you very much for the interview. Good luck with the film, and it was really nice having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.